I am the director for StartUP Johannesburg, and I'm also the founder of Rebirth Wines and Rebirth Coffee. So the coffee that you're drinking is, I don't want to say mine, but if the shoe fits. And I'd like to actually welcome you to StartUP Grind. I'm seeing some familiar faces, which is amazing. For those of you who have just joined us for the first time, welcome. I hope to see more of you as time go by. And I just want to give you a bit of background about who we are and what we do. So StartUP, the largest independent startup community, actively educating, inspiring, and connecting more than 1.5 million entrepreneurs in over 500 chapters. We nurture the startup ecosystem in 200 countries through events, media, and partnerships with organizations like Google for Startups. The cornerstone of our global community are monthly events featuring successful local founders, innovators, educators, and investors who share lessons learned on the road to building great companies. It was founded in Silicon Valley. StartUP Grind has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses, connect to strategic partners, and secure funding. And we believe in making friends and not contacts. We believe in giving and not taking. And we believe in helping others before helping ourselves. And you can follow the conversation online using our hashtag StartUpGrind, JHB. And if you can see on your lanyards, on the name cards, the hashtag is there. If you can just give us some love on social media. Follow us on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And I also would like to thank Andina for being so kind to us and allowing us to host our events here. We really love this place, it's beautiful. And I'd like you guys to help me welcome her on stage to give us a bit of an overview about what Impelo is all about and how you guys can, get involved and get to work with them. Please give her a hand.
Welcome guys. Nice to see you all. So just a bit about Impelo. We are a co-working space. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the co-working space. But basically what we do is really try and help foster growth and development of startups, small businesses, entrepreneurs. How we do that is, one, we give them a great space to work from with shared amenities. Obviously keeping their costs down, because we know that's quite tough when you first start out. And then the biggest thing is really bringing them together in a collaborative environment and community. What do I mean by that? It's really helping connecting them with people not only in the space, but outside, and helping them expand on their offerings, what it is they do, their development. So if you can imagine, somebody, it's just a practical example, somebody who does websites, the person next to you may do social media marketing. You could be sitting right next to each other and not know that one of your clients maybe wants both of those things. So by putting you together in a space like this, you're able to, as you can see, broaden your base and really do well and grow. So we're all about collaboration. What we also do for anybody who may be interested is we offer a free week trial, so you can literally come and sit here at no cost, see if you enjoy it, and then form part of our community. So hope you enjoy this evening, and if you have any questions, just let us know. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. And StartUP Grind wouldn't be who we are if it wasn't because of our amazing sponsors that always help us nurture the startup ecosystem. And I would like to welcome on stage Vinu from PayFirst, and he's going to tell us more about what PayFirst does. Please give him a hand.
Hi guys, you're definitely in for an amazing event today. I just want to tell you a bit about PayFast. Have you guys heard of PayFast before? Okay, fantastic. I always start off with that question. So the whole idea of PayFast is actually to make it easy to accept payments via multiple mechanisms, all the brands listed over there. And basically, if you have a website specifically e-commerce related, then PayFast becomes a very good choice for you to accept online payments. It's actually one of the biggest online payment gateways in South Africa, and it makes it very easy to integrate it across a variety of platforms. If you want to understand more about how to integrate PayFast into your products, please talk to me. I will be available after the session, and then I can put you in touch with the right people. Thanks.
Thanks, Venu. And I'd also like to give a big shout out to the Spice Kitchen for sponsoring us with the amazing Indian food. And what do you actually call this type of food? Durban-style curry food. Okay, cool. And you guys are in Rivonia, right? At Rivonia Junction. Right, yeah. And yeah, if you guys would like to treat yourself on some really good, nice curry, you can go there and check them out. I personally love their vegetarian roti. That's my personal favorite. And I'd also like to thank Rebirth Coffee for the amazing coffee. And Neil for a video. Neil is from Red, Green, Blue Creatives. And I actually love their social media. Like, they just put all the reds, and all the green there. It's really beautiful. Do check them out. They really have some really amazing content that they put out online. Give them some love. There's a few videos that we've taken previously, and you can go to our YouTube channel, just search Startup Grind Global, and then, or just Startup Grind Johannesburg, and then all the videos will come up in case you want to, see what has happened, or you want to follow the conversation again online. And I'd like to thank AC Photography for the nice pictures. All the pictures actually go onto our Facebook page. So if you are our friend on Facebook, it's a friend, right? Yeah. If you are our friend on Facebook, every 3 days after the event, we upload all the images. So you're more than welcome to tag yourselves and share them on your social media with some of your friends. Just show them what they've been missing out and all that. And I'd like to thank Len for the sound as well. And yeah, that's just pretty much it. I hope you guys, and my team, thanks so much, guys, for always helping out. Love you. Thanks for always helping out and making sure. Honestly, if it wasn't them, I don't know who I'd be. This would be a mess. They're always here on time and always helping out, and I really, really appreciate that the love that they're giving to not only to me but to the startup ecosystem. It's really wonderful to have young people really helping and contributing to the startup ecosystem. And without taking up any more of your time, are you guys ready for tonight's guests? Woo-hoo. Tonight we are hosting Zucchi. So Zucchi is a Swiss-born investor and entrepreneur in Africa since 2007. He was previously at Goldman Sachs, where he contributed towards the global financial meltdown. He has started numerous businesses in healthcare, IT, tourism, academia, etc. Some failed, some succeeded. He's passionate about entrepreneurship and coffee. And he believes that the right mixture of these three will make Africa the continent to be for the next 20 years. He gets featured a lot in the press, namely Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, Entrepreneur Magazine, but doubts anyone actually understands what he really does for a living. In 2016, he co-founded the Sme Movement, an initiative to fix the SME support ecosystem, which is now active in over 83 countries. And you can go onto their website as www.smemovement.org. And the aim is to support 100 million SMEs by 2020. Please give him some love. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good. Hello, everyone.
Good, good. Welcome to Startup Grind Johannesburg. So have you spoken at any Startup Grind before?
No, I haven't.
This is your first. A lot of people are actually telling me that it's long overdue. Why am I only hosting you now? So
Let's wait for this. Can we just lower the expectations a notch? just
Cool. So normally at Startup Grind, we want to go back to who you are and just your background, a little bit about your background so that people can be familiar with where you grew up, and then we can dive into why we're actually here. Biggest reason why we're actually here.
Okay, so I'll give you 30 seconds background because I think we're not here because of me, we're here because of a topic. Very brief, Swiss born, worked in 11 countries for 9 different companies. I got fired 5 times. I quit 2 times just before they could fire me. And 2 times I made enough money for me in 2007 when I was in London working for Goldman Sachs, crashing the financial systems. At the time, the press was very interested in Africa as a continent of opportunities. And so I cashed in my stock options, moved to South Africa, and because I knew everything working for big corporates, I started 6 businesses at a time, 5 of which failed within 9 months. So if any of you wants to fuck up their business quickly, I'm an expert. The 6 business ended up employing about 1,800 employees, but I'd like to stay in, I like to keep the momentum, so I screwed that one up as well. The board kicked me out for not paying attention to cash flow. How many of you know what cash flow means? Exactly. And for those who are not sure what cash flow means, call me at the end of the month. Now, the 7th business, which is not a business, it's a movement, it's the SME Movement, and we work with governments in 83 countries, 31 in Africa, developing SME ecosystems. So a lot of the work we do, you'll never know it's us behind it. But I'll tell you about it later. So that's in a crack. So I've been in large corporates. I chair 2 government funds in South Africa at Innovation Hub for startups, and I am an entrepreneur. So I've walked the path, and I've lost everything where I used, Gibbs in Lovo, the business school? Mm-hmm. Here I am, and failed all the businesses, and I was going there because we didn't have electricity at home, so for hot water, so I used to go there for showering. So I've been through the highs, and I've been through the lows. And so I speak of a knowledge that I'll be sharing today about how to grow your business, how to find clients, not from an academic perspective. It's a mixture of both personal experiences as well as lessons from our work in supporting entrepreneurs in 83 countries and observing what works and what doesn't on a very practical level.
Awesome, that's amazing. And before we get to that, I just want you to tell us a little bit more about SME Movement, and if there's anyone who's getting involved, who are you looking for?
Can I answer that at the end? Okay. But I'll invite you all later to become ambassadors of the SME Movement, basically if you're passionate about supporting SMEs. Yeah. And the mere fact that you're here tonight presumes that you do believe in the power of entrepreneurship to fix the economy. And so let's chat at the end, because maybe by the time I finish speaking tonight, you'll hate the crap that I say so much that you have no interest in becoming part of it.
All right, cool.
Sorry, just apologies, one thing.
Yeah.
So I'll offend a lot of people with my sense of humor or lack thereof. And the reason for that is, this is a little known fact. In Switzerland, when you're born, they surgically remove your sense of humor. So now at least you have some context.
Wow, okay. So now you are particularly interested in actually helping entrepreneurs grow their customer base. What have you seen that, especially with a lot of entry-level entrepreneurs, what are they doing wrong in the beginning of their entrepreneurial journey, especially when it comes to sales and, getting customers and getting their product and their brands out there?
Okay, good question. I would answer it very simply, and then let's do an exercise if you'll allow me.
Awesome, yeah.
Okay, so the answer is there's really 3 components to your entrepreneurial journey: skills, finance, and clients. And we focus as entrepreneurs very much on our brilliant products and service. So much that sometimes we spend 90% of our time doing that. And then we finish developing that, assuming we manage to develop that, and then we spend 2 years trying to find finance. Startup capital, VCs, angels. And the reality out there is no money available for you. I mean that lovingly. There are pockets of money. There are channels where you can tap in for resources. But later we can actually even tackle it. How do you grow a business when you don't have money? And I reckon 80% of what you need money for is available for free out there. Anyway, but we'll tackle it. Let me start with a little exercise, and then that will explain what we're doing wrong and how easy it is to fix. Pull out your phones, please, and open the email app. If you don't have a phone, it's not the end of the world. But open your phones, open your email, create a new email. You're just going to have to trust me for 3 minutes while we do this exercise. Just tag along with me. It makes sense at the end, I hope. Okay, have you got your phones open? Create a new email. Now pass your phone to somebody you don't know. Exchange your phone ideally, just as a security. Okay, pass the phone to somebody, and when you receive that phone, in the to, write your email address.
Okay.
We'll do that later.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, we've exchanged. Yeah, well, cool. Thank you.
Do they not trust you? Oh, you don't trust them? Ah, okay.
Okay, in the subject line, write, what was the hashtag for tonight?
Hashtag Startup Grind JHB.
So write hashtag Startup Grind JHB. Cool, and then pass the phone back, unless it's a really nice phone, then you can keep it. Sorry. When you receive the phone, you can send a message, send the email. Okay, who has received that email already? Has anybody received it? I'm just going to, okay, stand up for a second. Who's received the email? Okay, what does it say in the email signature?
Isaac Blackstone Services Pty Ltd.
Okay, is that it? Okay, who else has received an email? What does it say in the signature? Creating endless possibilities for digital and video content for the website. Cool. What else have you got? Who else received the email? What does it say? Okay, just the telephone number. What else? Who else received it? Nobody? Are we all so poor? That's entrepreneurship. Can't afford data. Who else received an email? Ma'am? Is it blank? Okay, it's blank. Who else? One or two more examples? Nobody? Nothing. Did you receive an email? Blank. No, blank is fine. My point here, yes? Send from iPhone.
You actually did tweet about this one yesterday, right?
And this is exactly it. Here is the easiest or the biggest mistake that we do is we've got a free resource right in front of our nose, your email signature. How many emails? Who sends more than 5 emails a day? More than 10? Doesn't matter to whom. It might be a short email, be home in 2 hours, kind of thing. More than 20? Okay, so between 5 and 20 and upwards. 5 to 20 opportunities to sit in front of your eyes, and we're not utilizing it. Unless you work for iPhone or for Apple and you're selling iPhones. Why are we not using that little description at the bottom of the emails to sell ourselves? And this is one of the biggest problems that we do as entrepreneurs, is that we are so focused on our passion, on the thing that we are solving, the problem, that we forget that the world first doesn't give a shit about us, and second is too busy to care, other than perhaps family, friends, girlfriend, boyfriends, and partners, and so forth. So what I'd like to do, is it okay if we do one more little exercise?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I apologize, I'm sort of hijacking you here. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is turn to one person who you didn't come with tonight. So it doesn't matter who it is, behind you, in front of you, if you need to move around.
I'm going to do the exercise as well.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Sit next to somebody. And who's going to give who's got a timer? Will you do the timing? Okay, we're going to do 1.5 minutes, no more per person. Okay, so you are with her. So you're going to explain in plain English what problem you solve, not what you do. Let me give you a practical example. I do website bullshit. I help small businesses to make more money online. You see what I'm doing? Same thing, but very different way of understanding what I do. So I would like you to describe in plain English what exactly you solve to the person. And then for 1.5 minutes, and then we switch and we give it, I'll make a whistle or something. I'll break a glass, a coffee cup. With paper cups, I'll be throwing the cup like 20 times. But, and then we give the other person, and then I'll go around and just ask some of you randomly what you understood that they solve. So okay? So let's start. Will you count 1.5 minutes? Please explain to what you're solving. Okay, now and switch, please. Give the other person a chance.
Time is up.
Okay. Eyes front, as I say. So I'm just going to go around randomly. We're not going to do everybody, but who would like to volunteer and share what the other person does?
Okay, so what Rachel does, she efficiently helps people plan their holidays and their full itinerary. So she solves that problem for them so they don't, their holiday actually doesn't become a nightmare, the admin around their holiday. They just go on holiday and enjoy their holiday. So she solves the problem of doing all the admin from start to end of the holiday.
And are you expensive? Could we as entrepreneurs afford a holiday? What the fuck is a holiday?
Most definitely, you could afford me. My prices are very reasonable. My company is called Hamba Umhlaba Travel.
Okay.
I do local and international holidays, any destination, whether it's a boat cruise, a tour, a religious tour, throughout the world, anywhere you want to go to.
Thank you. What does he do?
He appetizes people's taste buds. He fills your tummy. He is able to solve the ladies that don't like to be in the kitchen, so he will make sure that you have a ready cooked meal at all times. A hot, warm plate from Durban curry.
Awesome, thank you. Who would like to? I'm just walking. I'm like eyeing you, but sorry. Like, hi. Would you like to volunteer?
Yeah, sure. He's a cleaner. Yes, so he helps, or he does cleaning for corporates and that.
Okay.
So he does cleaning services as well as cleaning operators, right? Yeah, cleaning appliances and that. Yeah.
Very nice. But that says what he does, but not what he solves. Also, we understand by that. But what do you solve? What do you think?
I make areas clean, different kinds of places.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Are
my.
you cheaper than employing somebody?
No, I employ people to do the job.
Okay. Why would we hire you?
Mm,
Why would this beautiful space ask you to take over? I'm putting you on
yeah.
the spot. I apologize. I don't mean it from a bad perspective, but where I'm going with this is we often tell people what we do, but not what we solve. And then we can tackle it just now. For example, are you tired of managing staff? Cleaning staff? Would you like a constant top, brand, your brand perfectly represented by impeccable cleaning standards and that kind of thing? You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I get you.
What does he do?
He actually holds money in a way that between two companies, in case that I have to buy something from another person, instead of paying that person directly, he safeguards the money in a way that when all the transaction is done, after having the tools and equipment,
Yeah.
then he can.
So he's like so if we don't trust each other 100%,
Yeah.
I don't risk losing all the money. That is cool. That is very, very cool. Yes?
Sounds like a Swiss bank.
Or UBS.
Yeah, but we do mostly money laundering. So there's big rooms with people actually doing money laundering. No, just joking. Thank you very much for sharing. Who would like to? Yes, sir.
What Spirit does is create a storyline for SMEs so that they can better communicate with their clients.
What do you do?
She creates.
I'm a content creator and a digital marketer.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was beautiful the way you described
Yeah.
it. Thank you. And what does he do?
He helps us utilize social media in a way that doesn't hinder the next person.
Give us an example.
His app, I think, filters what is not supposed to or what can harm another person.
Okay, on a very practical level, like for example, you can pass the microphone. I'm not putting you on the spot now. What are his financial returns for last year? No, just.
So basically what we are doing, we are creating an app to combat with cyberbullying.
That's powerful. That is powerful. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for being in that space. Who else would like to share?
Okay, so what Harry does is he solves the problem of employees within businesses not having all the information in one place, people messing up databases, right? And just helping solve the problem of how to manage the increasing amounts of information within companies.
Very powerful. Thank you. And what does she do?
Good. Right, so Louisa helps startup companies create a strategy to price their products and better understand what goes into pricing a product.
That's powerful. I think pricing is actually one of the biggest challenges we as entrepreneurs face. Should we do it for free for this client? I need the money. Let's price it. Doesn't matter if it'll only last me 1 month in a 6-month contract. That's powerful. Thank you. Who else would like to share? Okay, wait.
Okay, so Levers is a business the problem that he solves is that he helps entrepreneurs with compliance issues and registering their businesses.
Okay, thank you. And what does he do?
In fact, we are in the same sector because he also Yeah, in fact, we are in the same sector.
Okay.
I can see people there, so like, hey, this voice where is coming from? Yeah, it's from this. Yeah, we are, like he's also helping like SMEs. He's in enterprise development, but he, most of the time, he's doing like the consultation, helping them to start their business, to market them, and also to grow.
Very powerful. Thank you. Who else would like to share?
And there were some really great conversations that were happening here, and I want you guys to share what you spoke about.
So what Kopana does is she supplies a service to clients that work full-time or part-time. She, from what I can understand, supplies them with their presentations. She can also go and present to clients on their behalf. Have I got it? Yeah, because time is of the essence, so she supplies that, not only doing the content, but also doing the presentation for clients.
That is power, especially because we often, you know, one of the problems we as entrepreneurs face is that we are so in love with what we're doing. As our little baby, we don't see the big pimple on his face. That we need somebody to come with objective eyes and say, you know what, the slide is shit. It doesn't mean anything to a potential customer, and so forth. So that is powerful. Thank you. Thank you for insisting. What does she do?
So Barbara, basically she's a one-stop shop in the hygiene and fitness arena, whereby she solves the problem of people who want to source out health and fitness products. So she's a manufacturer and also a supplier and a seller at the same time. So
awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? Would you like? I heard some interesting stuff going on. Where's our wonderful photographer?
Okay.
Yeah. You explain what he does.
Okay, so sorry, I didn't get your name, but our wonderful photographer is in the business of capturing moments and telling people stories. Because once we leave here tonight, we're going to forget everything that we've actually experienced. He captures it, puts it on social media, and spreads the word. So it's a very powerful tool.
And what does he do?
If I understood correctly, he has a platform that uses reputation of the business to build the business within the community.
Intriguing enough for you to click on the link at the bottom of the email? What my point here is, and thank you. So you get my point. I'm not going to, because I know you're still in the space of deciding. Two microphones there.
Spoiled for choice. Wow. Okay.
So one of the issues that we as entrepreneurs face is the fact that somewhere out there's a business that is interested in your services or your products. Somewhere out there are clients who want to know how to price a product, who need a PowerPoint deck, who need help with social media, they need whatever the case may be. They're doing an event, they will love amazing food that is light but yet tasty, and so forth and so on. The problem in this noisy world in which we live in is that nobody knows that we exist. And so the exercise that we just did, I would invite you, and it doesn't have to be perfect, to translate what you solve and put it at the end of your email. Your signature. Go away from, hi, I'm the managing director, vice president in charge of operations. You know, often your name and contact details. Go to, I help clients with this. I solve this. Do you have a trust? Do you do a lot of transaction and you need a trusted intermediary to make sure that the people deliver on the service before they get paid? Do you, whatever the case may be. And by the way, this is an iterative process. You're not going to get it perfect on the first version. But rather get going and have it perfect. Your email is your first employee. It's a free employee that works for you. And I'm inviting you to start using every email that you send out. It may be to the bank, it may be to a friend, to a family member, who in plain language, open your email and at the bottom is a repetition. of what you do and what you solve. And then after a while, you start remembering, shit, I actually got to speak to her. She's really good. That's why I need to call her. Or I need to speak to you because I need to create memories from photographs. Or you know what? I do a lot of many country travels. I wish I had somebody who can coordinate all the trips and everything. There's a free employee sitting there, and you saw it from your email signature, is completely underutilized. And this is my first invitation for tonight. The biggest problem we as entrepreneurs face is that nobody knows that we exist. And the reality, nobody cares. That's why when you write at the bottom, you write it in terms of what you solve, not what you do. Because nobody gives a shit about us. I mean it lovingly. Are we going to censor this filming? So always solve it, always paraphrase it in terms of how I solve your problems. Are you struggling with cash flow at the end of a month? Are you struggling with people paying you online? Pay fast. Click here to activate it. You get my point. So make it a call to action a little bit. So that was an extremely long-winded answer to what is the biggest problem entrepreneurs have. It's the fact that we want to sound so important and so ambitious that nobody actually knows exactly what we do. And I'm willing to bet that if I go to your social media profiles, your Twitter profile, your LinkedIn is probably a CV right now. Well, are you looking for a job? Or you don't believe in your business anymore? I invite you to use LinkedIn as a way that when you land on my page, it says York was born in an entrepreneurial ecosystem. From the day he was crawling on the floor, he was thinking entrepreneurial thoughts. With Lego. And I invite you to use LinkedIn as a way to support why you are the expert in the specific area. The worst you can do is to be a jack of all trades. Choose one battle. Make sure the world knows that this is the box you fit in. And your Twitter profile, does it describe what you're going to put in your email signature? Maybe a little bit different. Maybe instead of saying, I solve this, you could write, I'm passionate about solving cyberbullying. I'm passionate about whatever. And I do this via this app, this website, this service. I'm passionate about businesses having the best first impression ever in the world. Click here to find out how I can help you make sure that when guests come to your office, it looks like a 5-star. You see where I'm going with this? Same for your Facebook. How many of us are on Facebook and we use it from, how many connections do you have on Facebook? This is not, by the way, competition. How many would you say? 5,000. I want to be friends with you. How many connections have you got on Facebook? 1,000. 600. 1,000. You get my point. That's 1,000 people. 5,000, show off. 600 people who are looking at our banner. You know the top part? And shit, man, do you know Canva? Yeah. There's a free tool called Canva. There's a lot of free tools. Go on it, click Facebook, I think banner it's called. Yeah. And there's hundreds of free templates. Yes. Click it, open, edit it, and then slap it onto your Facebook. And that's 500, 600, 5,000 people who once in a while visit you and see exactly what you solve. So this is what I'm inviting you to. Every free social media employee out there that is currently underperforming in terms of generating leads for you, you as an entrepreneur should be spending 30 to 40% of your time finding clients. Rule of thumb, depending on where you are in the life cycle of your business, is 30% product development, 30% on finding clients, and 40% on fixing shit, which is the unexpected that we can never plan as entrepreneurs. So that was a very long-winded answer, sorry, to say what do we do wrong.
Very much needed though, very, very much needed. Really, really enjoyed that exercise. So before we head on to, I'm even thinking of throwing my script away. So does anyone have any question before we move on to the other stuff that I've prepared, to my script basically? Does anyone have a question? So no question. All right.
Just listening to what everybody does is extremely interesting. I think there's a lot of leads that's being generated just from this room. A lot of people seem to be involved in a lot of online stuff, creation of PowerPoint presentations, etc., etc. Is anybody actually involved in anything that is manufacturing based at all? I just wanted to clarify that I was at the right meeting.
All right. Any other question? Okay.
As a startup, how much because with small SMEs, we don't have much money for advertising. What is the guideline for us to put in advertising? Because to find new clients, that's where we need to be, is advertise a lot.
Okay, can I give you a tip that really works very well? Would you give us as entrepreneurs who once in a while travel, would you have 5 tips on how to plan a proper trip, on how to reduce costs? Okay. Would you be interested if she put 5 tips on how to reduce your cost of travel? Would you read it? Where's your free advertising? All I'm saying is you don't have to spend money. Sorry for those who are in the space. But I'm just saying you don't have to spend money. Learn about sharing. And there's 3 things you can do. Learn to share what you solve. Learn to share what you're working on. You're working on an app, it's in pre-release, and it helps people to build up a reputation so that the next time I call him for a job, I can see that he's been reviewed by 4 people that I know. You have a wonderful thing and you're looking for. Start to share. I love South Africa. I'm obviously from Switzerland, been here now, 11 years? But one thing that frustrates me here, unbelievable innovators, entrepreneurs, the shit that you have to deal with on a daily basis, whether it's electricity, skills, very variable, and infrastructure and cost stuff and so forth and so on, makes what you are delivering in the marketplace world class. Because if you can still deliver a service and a product in these conditions, you can sell this anywhere in the world. And yet we don't share. I find entrepreneurs here doing this with a business idea. No, I don't want to share yet with the world what I am working on. Let me give you, as somebody who's invested about 150 million in the last 7 years, not just my money, but government's money as well, ideas are worth 0. And we can argue this, there are exceptions. Nobody, when you share your idea, when she shared what she does, would you quit all your job and everything and do what she does? You see my point? There's much more of a human factor involved in jumping the ship. If your business is so easy to duplicate that anybody can just copy it, then you don't really have a business yet. So that's the first part. Learn to share what you're working on. Hey, I'm working with this client. I'm currently doing, what kind of manufacturing are you in? Oh, sorry. Oh, you're manufacturing, sorry. So you are involved in the manufacturing of this. This is currently what I'm doing. These are some of the lessons that I've learned. I'm working on a client, and we are doing a wonderful campaign for cyberbullying in the space of, I don't know, I'm just shooting here, schools or whatever. I've done a wonderful pricing project for a client, especially a startup in the social media space, to help them understand how to. And here everything. Do you see where I'm going? Yeah. And then we'll share it on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on the free platform that exists out there. Gauteng province has a portal that helps 250,000 entrepreneurs find clients. It's free, use it. You see where I'm going with this? So share what you're working on. Share what you're looking for. Shit, you know what, I'm struggling with my business. I'm really looking for somebody to help me with the pricing. I wish there was somebody out there. Now, we're lucky now that we met her, but if we didn't know, yet why don't we share what you're struggling with? This isn't an admission of failure. It's just, look, this is a component I'm struggling with. Maybe somebody has, and maybe you don't know, but you will share it, and he's a friend of yours, and the next thing we get in touch, and wonderful. Maybe you too, who are in a similar space, but it sounds also you have different elements to what you do. Maybe there's collaboration potential. You, by the way, can register your voice for any radio station in the country. But you get my point. So share what you're working on, share what you're struggling with, and share what you're looking for. If you get into the habit, you won't believe what actually starts happening. People start engaging with you. When you share 5 tips on how to save money as an entrepreneur when booking your flights to Cape Town, hotels and car hire, if that applies to you, here is 5 different resources to check your prices. You might not get a lead immediately, but people start following you, start engaging. When you share, people start commenting and saying, no, that's interesting. Wow, what a great idea. And have you also thought of this? Actually, it's fascinating because I'm actually working with a campaign with Department of Education. I would love to tap into your knowledge. Have you got time for me to meet for a coffee? Do you see where I'm going with this? And this is what I want to encourage you. There's one last point that I'll add for a very lengthy answer is when you share what you're working on, the project that you currently did, lessons learned from your last client, confidentiality notwithstanding, how to run a perfect event. Have you done a number of events, dinner parties, things like that? Could you give us 5 tips to people who do house events on how to keep costs down? See where I'm going with this? What you're doing subliminally is also telling the world that you're an expert in this. Nobody likes to risk our money on somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And so when you share what clients, what projects you've done, what you're actually doing very quietly is telling them, I'm an expert in this. Others have trusted me. I have lessons for you. And plus, I'm sharing that. Sorry, that was an incredibly lengthy answer.
Wow. Okay. Do we have another question? No question. Okay, now, should I come back? Okay, so I've got a question around freebies. You find a lot of, I've done that before, where I would give away a whole lot of stuff to people who I think would then potentially come back and buy from me. I would give away bottles of wine, I'd give away, bags of coffees. And in most cases, I'd say 98% of the time, it doesn't convert. And when you look online on how to attract customers, that always comes up, like, keep giving away free stuff so that people can, it's almost like a trial, when you're trying to sign up on something, they give you a taste of how the whole experience is going to be. But does that work, especially in South Africa?
What do you guys think? Who's got a good experience with giving away?
Okay, well, I mean, in the food industry, when I first started out, we had to give a taste. So when the customers come in, people would walk into the store to say, hey, what are you about? You're new in the area. So I'd say, you know what, have a taste. So we just give them a little taste. And then, if they, most of the time, well, we're lucky, 98% of the time, they said, oh, well, we love this over here, let's order. And then it turned into a sale immediately.
But your taste cost is minimal.
The taste. Yes, it's just maybe a piece of meat and some of the gravy and a piece of potato, whatever. But then they'd buy a full portion of the curry, So yeah, that's how we'd convert that.
So you say so you're saying that one would rather focus on giving a small quantity instead of just giving the whole.
Yes, just give
So maybe doing mini.
Yes. Maybe a mini bottle of wine, a small bottle.
I could
of
give you the whole box. Just taste all my wine.
Just talking from sort of online business experience, I don't think anything really is for free. So when you get something that you perceive as free, in return you're actually giving data. So like your email address or something like that, you see? So it is actually an exchange. And because of that, people can then, they know, who you are, and they can, continue to sort of pursue you until hopefully you convert. So you can never get it right on the first time. You need to keep trying and understand what your customer really wants and try to, match that.
I was also busy with the digital marketing for quite a bit, and what I found was that you shouldn't give away to everyone who wants something. So you should just run like a small little competition or run something that says if you share this to 3 people, then you get certain amount of points. And then all of these people then share, and it's just a quick link to Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever it might be. But as soon as they sign up, as he said, you then get their details. So then you collect hundreds of leads, and you maybe only give away 12 bottles of wine or whatever it might be. So you don't give away per lead, you just, try and maximize it.
Interesting. So my question is back on sharing. So let's say you do share and take that advice and share through your social network. Do you have any advice on how to speed up that process? Because essentially you'll only share into your network, and that might lead into different networks, and over time it'll obviously grow. But is there ways to speed it up? I mean,
I'll touch that again. I just want to ask her, just pass the microphone to you. How you manufacture. Yes. I'm guessing a lot of people are asking for freebies.
Okay, let me just quickly explain what I do. So I do the yoga range. So I do yoga bags, eye bags, that kind of thing. So people don't really ask me for free stuff.
Okay.
Because it's like not small things, but sometimes I offer free things. So what I'll do is I'll do a combination. So if at the studios, so if you buy a bag, then you get a free eye bag. So I introduce it to the studios and say, look, this helps with your clients, with sales and whatever. So it's not really.
I remember actually once I didn't think yoga, but I went to a workshop, and it's like a little sandbag. Let's call it like that. Obviously not a sandbag, but that you put over your eyes. And it sounds the stupidest thing in the world. It's the most relaxing thing I've ever tried in my life. Almost fell asleep right there and then, and I was standing. But that was a free plug.
Thank you very much.
Okay, but
yes.
and so my experience has been the same. Is that we entrepreneurs are so in love with our product and our service that we're so keen to see others use it. Can I give you 2 pieces of advice? It's okay not to be busy with clients. It's okay not to lose money on a client because you think they will, once that client speaks about it and they'll be happy, you'll get other clients. You want a couple of reference cases. You want to be able to say, no, I've had clients, I know what I'm doing. But in my experience, honesty works. When somebody says for free coffee, they say, look, I'm a small business. I cannot afford to give freebies. However, I can give it to you at cost. Maybe it'll shoot you down later when you negotiate on pricing. But it's fine to say, no, guys, look, the coffee bag, I don't know, let's say, I don't know how much it costs, but 70 Rand, 100 Rand, whatever it costs. And say, look, I can offer you a discount, but I need to cover also my expenses. In my experience, that quick interaction eliminates a lot of wasters. I wouldn't give anything. If you got a website or a portal or an app or something, and I understand your point about the email, but I would do something different. I go, you can either pay for all the work that we've done to support our work, or fill out this questionnaire that gives you much more useful information of what you need. You get my point. Yes.
Just going to the products, one of the important things in South Africa, I think globally as well, are influencers. So if you can actually leverage an influencer to use your product, but to punch you on social media, so if you're not good at Twitter, you're not good at Facebook, or whatever the case is, get it in the hands of someone who is good at that. Either give it to them at cost, let them use it for a while, but they have to punt it. It has to be a quid pro quo all the time. Well, I think if you're in the yoga industry, because I'm trying to break into that industry as well, is just go and visit all the yoga instructors. There are people that are influencing other people. So you go and visit classes, you'll see the one person there that everyone gravitates around. And it's a phenomenon that happens everywhere. But you actually have to hit the ground and go and visit people and see what's happening with your clients. And then you can make decisions from there. But it's a combination of using physically what's happening in the world, physical customers, with the influencers that have access to 5,000 customers.
Let me give you a practical example. And there's 1,000 tricks that you can use. And maybe we can share if any of you have done something but worked really well without spending money. Like every yoga studio has walls that they would like to put, I don't know, some philosophical message or like a mantra or something. How much does a poster like that cost to print? 200 Rand? 100 Rand? I've really no idea, but let's say that. Sponsored by your products. You know, I'm just saying it doesn't, when the influencers find something that solves your yoga studio's needs and offer to print them in exchange for a bit of real estate. You see that in all these calendars that they give away. You know, it's regarding network of networks, how do you speed it up? There is no shortcuts in life. So I'll start with that headline statement. Anybody who starts a business and hopes to be breaking even within 3 to 6 months, forget it. It's not going to happen. Your business, on average, will take 2 to 5 years to start being a real business. In that process, what I can suggest, I heavily recommend, is keep your fixed cost as low as humanly possible and work on your variable costs. For example, don't rent an office, take one of these desks here. Don't buy warehousing facility. Go to somebody who's got a factory, who's got a bit of spare space. You get my point, is keep your cost as low as humanly possible until you got enough revenue. We are often so excited as soon as we make a bit of money to now get fancy business card, get a nicer laptop. There's a wonderful company in Cosmos City that takes all the laptops from banks, refurbishes them and sells them. So you can get a phenomenal laptop with guarantee for 2,000 to 5,000 Rand. You see where I'm going, and I know it's nice to have an ultra thin, powerful, you know, Apple logo, but the Apple logo, you can buy a sticker and put it on. Sorry. But and it's keep this as humanly low so that in the lean days, you don't struggle too much. And you will struggle and you'll have days when you're desperate. When nothing seems to work, don't give away your products. Don't give away your service. Rather take a deep breath, go for a long walk, write a nice article, 5 tips, 10 tips, advice I would give, how to manage cash flow. Speak honestly. There's so much goodwill for entrepreneurs and SMEs. If you're honest about your journey and where you are, if you make it easy for people to help you, people will help you. If you share your content, people will start sharing. The Gauteng portal that I was mentioning, use that. 250,000 entrepreneurs waiting for you to share something. His platform, his app, that will be live in 2 weeks, is another platform. StartUP grind today. Before you post, and I will do a little exercise there, go onto your Twitter, change it with your email signature, right? And then take a nice photo of a group and then put hashtag StartUP grind. There it now starts being shared in other circles. Cheat the system as much as you can. Attend as many workshops as possible and keep rehashtagging. I don't know if that answers that.
All right, guys, we have 10 minutes. So if you guys have any question, I'm just going to take 2 more questions, and then we're wrapping up. Okay, Martin.
Just, I think a challenge that we face is essentially capital and seed capital. And I don't really think we've addressed that as sufficiently as we could. So you develop a business, you develop product, you sell that product, it just basically sustains you. Now you need to invest in the likes of, I don't know, additional machinery,
Yes.
additional materials, additional resources. Where do you get that capital from?
Okay, that's a beautiful question. Let me address it by what I said at the beginning. How do you grow a business when you can't really get funding for it? Okay, so let's do a little exercise. You take out a piece of paper or pen or your phone, doesn't matter. Open a note or a piece of paper, and I'd like you to write shopping list at the top. Shopping list in an email, in your note, doesn't matter where you write it. Something that we start here for 1 minute, and then you can continue. Now, at the top, next to the shopping list, for your business, wearing the business hat, write the amount that you're looking for in funding. Like, for example, is it 1 million? Is it 200,000? Is it 10 million? Is it 276,000? Whatever it is. If you're not sure, write an arbitrary number you think. Okay. Now, if I'm going to go around and give you an envelope with the money that you asked, first I'll become very popular. I might need pay fast, by the way. But joking aside, please write on the shopping list what you would buy with that money. Like, be very specific. I would buy the Apple, I don't know what the Apples are called. I would buy the iPhone X, whatever. I would buy a bakkie, a double cab bakkie because I need it for transport, and it must be the Toyota, and that cost, I have no idea, 500,000 to 300,000, 100,000. So I want you to be extremely specific about what you need. That you don't need to do the whole list now. With that shopping list, then, later, tomorrow, highlight those that are must-have versus nice-to-haves. Do you really need that fancy app? Is an iPhone X really going to do the trick and bring you more business, but now cost you, on contract, what is it, 700 Rand a month? 1,000 Rand? I have no idea. I really don't know. I bought a 3,000 Rand phone, which is shit, so I don't recommend buying that one. So my point here is that already there, I'm guessing by the end of the exercise, 30%, a third of your shopping list is nice to haves. Then the other one, I would like you to think very hard about what it is that you need it for. Warehousing space, a bakkie. We are in a semi-recession. I don't understand these employment stats that came out today. But we are in a technical recession by many measurements. So there's a lot of free resources out there, struggling entrepreneurs that have a bakkie, which has monthly payments, which is sitting unused. Go online and say, hey everybody, I'm looking for part-time utilization of a bakkie to transport my goods from A to B, my groceries, to help my staff. Is there any minibus driver that has time at these specific slots to take my staff to a specific location for cleaning jobs? And so forth and so on. Share each item and you won't believe how many conversations start happening. How many times people will say, well, actually, I'm not using that camera equipment. I use it only in the evenings at certain event, during the day sitting idle, and you wanted to start a production to interview entrepreneurs. Well, if you go to their office, you can utilize their equipment for a fraction of the price. I hope I'm not putting you in a difficult spot now. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's a fucking sharing economy. So start tapping into the goodwill. Start tapping into the opportunities that a recession brings about. And you will not believe it, how quickly doors start opening for things that you would have spent money for. And now suddenly you have your demand for money drop down substantially. Now, sorry, long answer. But that it depends also at what stage of a life cycle of your business you're in. Ideation, startup, process-driven, optimization, rescue, business rescue. And so in that vein, in your shopping list, what would be included? Certain machinery. Well, maybe there's a specific grant for that kind of machinery. Maybe you don't apply for that machinery, but maybe the gentleman over there can apply for a grant for that machinery and you incubate him in your factory. Huh?
The Swiss banker.
Yeah. So, but you get where I'm going with this. You don't. There's not always do you have to buy everything. Capital is difficult. And by the way, how many of you are startups? Okay. If I asked you to email me your financials, your expenditure tonight, would you be able to do it at a touch of a button? Because some of you, yes, some of you worried that I'm associated to SaaS in some ways. So my point here is there's lots of free apps. I forgot, Wave accounting, there is Zero, I think that's not free.
FreshBooks.
FreshBooks. All of my point here is start with a basic accounting package. It's the only way you're going to get funding is if you can show a track record. There is a incubated at EdgeGrow, it's called Profit Share Partners. If you got an order for something, they will buy the equipment for you. They're not the equipment. They will buy the raw material that you need to fulfill that order for you on the back of that order. So all I'm saying, there are things, options, but get away from the idea that there's funding. But there's an investor out there who wants to give you money. It ain't going to happen. It might happen, but rather than investing 2 years trying to find that money, invest 2 years building a client base, building basic financial. By the way, if you lose money, it's okay. No investor in the world thinks you will make money in the first 2 years. They just want to see a trajectory, that your fixed costs are managed. And by the way, investors, how many of you are married? Wait, it's a singles club. Okay. How many of you are dating? Jesus, really singles club, my God.
It's tough out there, hey?
Oh, yeah. Hey. So everybody else paying attention, those who... My point here is, and this is the last point that I want to make, finding an investor is a bit like getting married. You can't just walk up to this beautiful lady here and say, hi, would you like to get married? I know you don't know me. But so you see my point. It's a relationship that you're building, trust, getting to know them. And that takes time, 18 months to 3 years. But in the meantime, it's like when the bell rings. And this is my advice regarding the funding. Get away from the idea you can find money. Rather, solve each item on your shopping list and see what is available in this economy.
Sure. Wow. I think there's a lot of work I need to do when I get home. I need to clean my business when I get home.
The free coffee samples, there are always exceptions.
Thanks. So, my question is that as small South African businesses, it's important to aim higher once we make it out of the starting blocks. And the world has become connected. How do we, after conquering South Africa and you're an SME, how do we then export our product or services to the rest of the world, i.e. Europe or America, so that we grow even bigger?
Are you at that point?
One day I'll get there.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion for your peace of mind? Forget about that one day from now. I'm not killing your ambitions. All I'm saying is we're so influenced by the big success stories that is, by the way, what fucked up my healthcare business. 1,800 employees, and I started believing our own crap, and I started expanding all over. We were in quite a few countries. I now forget how many. 13 or 18, I can't remember. And that was stretching. We were burning R1 million a month losses. And I didn't see that coming. You think, how the hell don't you see that coming? But you're so, people think you're cool and what you're doing is amazing. But you think now the world is your oyster and you take on every opportunity and it's the worst thing you can do. Focus, a friend of mine, he has developed a wall patent, something that you can put over an existing wall to make your walls higher. He can build it in 3 days at a fraction of the cost of bricks. For 2 years, he couldn't get clients. So I sit with him about 3 weeks ago and I say, okay, come with me. We jumped in the car and we drove a neighborhood. Point me out every wall that is not very high. We probably found 50. I'm sucking now. Why doesn't he print a leaflet in the neighborhood and say, hey, I actually live in the neighborhood. I care about your security. How would you like your wall much higher at a fraction of the price in 3 days? You see where I'm going with this? Get a nice customer base around you. Then another one. And then bring the money in. Be profitable. Pay the bills. Don't lose your hair like me. All I'm saying is we're so focused on growing the big business that we forget to win each client. We treat clients as a stepping stone to our ambitions instead of treating each client like a close friend. Thank you for believing in my product. I really appreciate it. I'm your biggest fan for you buying from me. How often do we do that? We kind of, no, it's a transaction. Next. That's my ambition. If you want to grow really and you have products and services that you want to grow internationally, I can give you a couple of resources. In fact, if you want, I'll give you my email address. I'll give it to you all. So if you want to write it, it's YZ. Just send me an email and I'll send you some of the free resources that exist out there. So it's YZ at yzp.ch. Yes, CH. So it's YZ at yzp.ch. Just send me a little email and I'll send you a list of 10, 15 different resources, free stuff that's out there that most people don't even know about. Do you know that the Department of Trade, by the way, pays for you to travel overseas to trade fairs to sell your products? And it's not even bloody difficult. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who end up going, but you have to have something local. So not, hey, I'm bringing from China something and selling it, and that kind of defeats the whole point. So I'm just saying, if there's incentives like that, which is just a form to fill out, why not take advantage?
Tell me about some of your experiences of failure when you expanded your business.
Nice and short, it was horrible. Because I took it very personally. I started believing, shit, what's wrong with me? I ran big projects and all that, and I can't run a small business. But the problem is that in big projects with big companies with lots of resources, there's usually enough buffer to take care of everything and to allow a margin of error. When we run a business, we're juggling so much shit every day that it's so easy to take your eyes off the ball. And so it's an emotional roller coaster, but I wouldn't give it up for anything. Like if you're having a shit time, if you're not sure where it's going, you're not generating revenue and friends, family is putting pressure on you and all that, take a deep breath. Try something different. Speak, hang out this is basically Alcoholics Anonymous for entrepreneurs. Hang out with other entrepreneurs. Share the challenge, guys, listen. Be honest and say, guys, I've done this is what I sell, and I'm struggling to understand why people are not getting in touch with me. This is how I describe it. What do you guys think? Is it bad? Get honest feedback. It's a slap in the face. But I can tell you it's the best feedback you'll ever get. But there's no denying that it's horrible. There's no cure around it.
York, just coming back to the question of, or the topic of clients, there's this saying in business that it's easier to retain clients than it is to find new clients. How true has that been in your experience? Because it's something that I've particularly struggled with, and maybe not even as an entrepreneur, from a work perspective, I haven't found that to be any kind of true. What's your experience been?
Tell us a bit more about your experience.
Well, I feel sometimes if you have a transaction with a client, let's say you're selling a product, now they have it. So why would you then continue to pester these people or to continue selling to them? And likewise with the service, sometimes somebody comes to you, they need a service, and you help them out, and then why would you'll find that maybe they don't need that service thereafter, depending on what it is. So for instance, if it was surgery for a doctor, they're not going to need that again. So
okay, so let's take your example. You sell registration services, company set up, is that understood?
Yeah.
And so it's pretty much transactional, how many times we're going to set up a new company. But maybe there's a monthly newsletter that says, hey, York, we helped you set up. Here's 5 other resources you should consider for your business. Here's a fantastic accounting package. Did you know that the Department of Trade and Industry has free programs to send you overseas to sell your widgets? What I'm saying is there are opportunities to A, stay engaged, and then she now has a dinner with him, because they're both singles, obviously, and he's looking also to start a company. She says, you know what, actually I should introduce you to these guys. They send me really useful shit every month. They're not trying to sell me stuff, they send me amazing resources. Maybe become a reseller for here. I'm sure there is a little profit margin enough to say, listen, if I bring you clients, can you give me a percentage of a yearly turnover? Find, a bookkeeper, not an accountant, but a bookkeeper. Listen, I know you're struggling with, you're tired at the end of the day, you've been on the road the whole day. For as little as few hundred rands a month, I can give you somebody. We come and collect the invoices, we do all the work, put it on zero, you have it. If that answers your question. Keeping in touch. Upselling sometimes might be difficult. Like, the surgery. Oh, sorry, I repaired the wrong leg. Could you come back? But you by keeping in touch, you're top of mind with that person when they meet other people. It helps your reputation. You care about that person. It wasn't just a transaction. Hi.
Hi. I don't need any surgeries. I do property development, specifically rental and student accommodation. And the students are there. The properties are there. There's no doubt it's a worldwide problem that there's no student accommodation. I know where to find it. I know where to identify. I know the students will come in. I cannot access the funding. Do you have answers for that?
7.
What about 7?
Just random answer. You know, it's like. So have you? So is it a matter of finding the funding to build the whole thing?
Even existing or building from scratch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows of a landowner who's got a building like this? Who's involved in building? You know landowners. And are they all doing incredibly well, maximizing the yield of the properties? So maybe you could speak to some of the people he knows and go to the building owner and say, listen, I know 2 of your 5 floors are not doing well. I have an idea to convert them into, that's what sometimes co-working spaces do. They increase the yield actually of the building. I don't know the numbers of the students. All I'm saying is rather than finding the funding, go to it and say, I'll manage everything. I'll set it up, I'll manage the construction, I'll find you the tenants, I'll manage the cash flow, the payment, the maintenance and everything. You just put in the capital to redo those 2 floors. Just an idea. 7.
7.
Okay, so this is the last question, and then we're going to wrap up, or else I'm going to be in trouble.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Bo, and it's not really a question. It's just responding to her. I'm an architect, and what we tend to do at my company is that we do exactly what you said we do, pitch. Basically what we do is we sell pretty pictures, and we bring in the numbers as well. So for in a situation like that, what we would do is we would find an opportunity, for example, in the city, Johannesburg, right? In its degradation, and we're looking at what Maboneng is doing and the urban regeneration, and what we do is we pick a building that's dilapidated, find out who owns it. If it's not owned by anyone, we just get the plans at council, come up with a design, clueless to who we're going to present it to, and then we just go to Herman Mashaba. And what actually happened is that he just launched the 2.1 billion rand development of the 6 city blocks in Jewel City, and that's our company, which is Gas. So we didn't, we from JPC, yeah.
I want 5% commission between.
So it's about. Okay, cool. So it's about pitching, doing risk work.
Yeah. By the way, you don't need to do all the pretty pictures as well. What he said is brilliant. Hey everybody, I've got a brilliant idea for a new campaign that will create certain things for cyberbullying. It's perfect in that space, and this is what we're thinking of. Is anybody interested in chatting with us? It doesn't have to be rocket science. We are all too busy to run around and do everything.
Awesome. Super awesome. Did you guys have fun? Did you guys have fun? I so wish we had 2 hours of this conversation.
Okay, then last one on that one. Take out your phones. Who's on Twitter? Let's do a quick, okay, open your phones on Twitter.
Yeah.
Come, let's do. And I want you to take a picture of the other side of the room or other people, not yourself. Take it. Yeah, sure. How does this work? You know my cheap phone? Bugger. Okay.
Let me check out my phone as well.
Okay, and then post it with the hashtag StartUpGrindJHB. And then write the one thing you've learned about tonight. One tip you would give to another entrepreneur. One piece of advice. Doesn't matter if it was something you were thinking or you heard or somebody else said. Share that one piece of knowledge that you would give to another entrepreneur with hashtag StartUpGrindJHB, attachment of the picture. so that we can all find it and then we can retweet. Here's your answer to regarding accessing other networks more faster. Everybody likes sharing free knowledge.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Wow. Okay. Wow. I actually had so much fun. I didn't even need my script. That's just how wonderful it was tonight. Did you guys have fun though? Did you guys have a good time? Did you learn as much as you thought you would? Like, I'm so glad. I just want to thank you for being our guest tonight. And if there's an opportunity for us to bring you back again onto our platform, I wouldn't even think twice. I would literally say, okay, whenever you want, let us work on the date. I would really love to have you back again at a Startup Grind. And I wish you all the best with everything that you're going to be doing. You did not tell us, though, about the SME movement.
Send me an email.
Okay. Okay, cool. So obviously you guys have his email address. Just send him an email. If there's anything that you want to communicate with us at Startup Grind, if there's anyone you would like us to bring on stage as a guest, send me an email. It always helps if you know the person directly. You can just introduce us over email and say, hey, Beth, I think so-and-so would be the right person to have onto the platform. Because more than anything, it's not about us. It's not about me. It's not about Startup Grind. It's about you and what you guys would like to learn when you're here. And see you guys next month. Our event next month is on the 16th because there's a lot of holidays that are happening in April. But yeah, have fun. Thanks. Get to know each other. Just learn from each other, collaborate with each other, work with each other. Tell other people about Startup Grind and what you guys enjoy about the space. And yeah, I'll communicate with you about all the other stuff that we're going to be doing in a few days' time. So yeah, thank you. Bye.